Hola, nuevos amigos. Aquí estoy de nuevo. ¿Listos para aprender? Excellent! It's always good to be with you and teach you new things. Today, we have some interesting subjects to learn and, as always, new words to add to your Spanish vocabulary. Su vocabulario de español. Ahora, saquen sus diarios de español y prepárense para escribir. Another Latin American country located in el Mar del Caribe, the Caribbean Sea, is Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico has a special political relationship with the United States. It is a Commonwealth country of the U.S. Puerto Rico governs itself, and the President of the United States is its chief of state. A commonwealth is a state or political unit founded on law by an agreement of the people for the common good. The United States and Puerto Rico share things in common and work together. In a sense, it's like a family. Puerto Rico has an elected governor as its head of government. Governor in Spanish is gobernador. El gobernador. Say it after me. El gobernador. Good. It's time for the verb of the day. El verbo del día.
El verbo del día es proteger. To protect, proteger.
Let's conjugate the verb proteger. To protect. Yo protejo. I protect. Tú proteges. You protect. Él, ella protege. He, she protects. Usted protege. You protect formal. Nosotros protegemos. We protect. Ustedes protegen. You all protect. Puerto Rico has had a colorful and active political history. Some of the words we will learn today are concerned with politics and how people make their voices heard. Let's learn some of these new words. La ley. La ley. Law. La ley. La marcha. La marcha. March. La marcha. La mayoría. La mayoría. Majority. La mayoría. El permiso. El permiso. Permission. El permiso. El himno. El himno. Anthem. El himno. Good work, nuevos amigos. Now, here's our first dialogue.
Te protejo de la lluvia.
¿Tienes un paraguas?
Claro, ven, te acompaño a tu casa.
Muchas gracias.
Did you listen closely for the conjugated form of the verb proteger? Excellent! Let's go over the dialogue together. Student number 1 asked, ¿Te protejo de la lluvia? May I protect you from the rain? Repeat after me. ¿Te protejo de la lluvia? Good. I'll say it again. ¿Te protejo de la lluvia? Student number 2 asked in return, ¿Tienes un paraguas? Do you have an umbrella? Repeat after me. ¿Tienes un paraguas? Let's say it together. ¿Tienes un paraguas? Student number 1 replied, Claro, ven, te acompaño a tu casa. Of course, come, I'll accompany you to your house. Repeat after me. Claro. Ven, te acompaño a tu casa. Let's say it one more time. Claro. Ven, te acompaño a tu casa. Student number 2 said, Muchas gracias. Thank you very much. I'm sure you know this phrase. Let's say it together. Muchas gracias. Excelente, nuevos amigos.
Puerto Rico is a Caribbean island whose name means rich port. With 311 miles of coastline and a large tropical rainforest, the island has been attracting explorers, conquerors, pirates, immigrants, and tourists for centuries. It's believed that the first inhabitants came from North America and other Caribbean islands to settle in this land. By the year 1000 AD, the Taínos people had settled and established their culture in the island. Their name means the good ones. They named the island Borinquen, which means Land of the Brave Lord. The national anthem, El Himno of Puerto Rico, is called La Borinqueña, a word that refers to the island as a native woman. Many Puerto Ricans today refer to themselves as Boricuas. In 1493, Christopher Columbus reached the island. Consequently, the Spaniards conquered it, and similar to many areas of Latin America, the Indian population was subjected to slavery. They fought for their freedom and independence for almost 3 centuries, and in 1873, slavery came to an end in Puerto Rico. 25 years later, in 1898, Puerto Rico won independence from Spanish rule. Puerto Rico didn't achieve its independence without help. The United States got involved in the Spanish-American War to gain control over the island. When the U.S. won the war, Spain had to give up Puerto Rico, and the Americans took over the government. The United States arranged for improvements in schools, roads, and hospitals throughout the island. Many Puerto Ricans were happy with the new government, but others preferred to have their own independent rule. In 1917, President Woodrow Wilson signed the Jones Act, which allowed Puerto Ricans to become U.S. citizens. This granted them permiso, to work in the U.S. However, Puerto Rico's governor, el gobernador, and political officials were appointed by the United States. This created some anger within the Puerto Rican community because most of the appointed politicians came to the island and did not speak Spanish. Puerto Ricans organized many marches, las marchas, opposing American involvement in Puerto Rico's government. In 1947, the U.S. Congress passed a law, una ley, that allowed Puerto Ricans to vote for their own governor. This democratic act led to another resolution in 1951 when Puerto Ricans voted to become a Commonwealth of the United States. This meant that the island became a United States possession. American companies and military bases were able to operate there, and the people of Puerto Rico were able to elect their own governor. In 1952, they wrote their own constitution. Today, Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens, but since Puerto Rico is not a state, the citizens who live on the island cannot vote in the U.S. presidential election. In 1993, Puerto Rico voted to decide between keeping its status as a Commonwealth or to become the 51st state. The majority, la mayoría, of people chose to continue Puerto Rico's Commonwealth status. This option allows them to be American citizens and also makes them feel independent. If Puerto Rico became the 51st state, it would follow many U.S. federal laws, and Puerto Ricans would have to pay an income tax to the U.S. government, just as the people of the U.S. do every year.
Buenos días, nuevos amigos. Each week I've brought you dichos that will help you make good decisions. In today's dicho, we will consider how we use our ears and mouths, so listen and write it down in your Spanish journals. Al buen entendedor, pocas palabras. Al buen entendedor, pocas palabras. Let's say it together. Al buen entendedor, pocas palabras. This dicho translated to English means, a good listener needs few words. You may have heard the saying in English that since we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, we should listen twice as much as we speak. That makes a lot of sense. Our dicho says that a good listener hears the words being spoken, but uses few words himself. The listener also pays attention to body movements, expressions, tones of voice, and all the surrounding details. In order to get a greater understanding, you need to listen with all of your senses, not only with your ears. So when you listen closely, you don't need to speak as much. Let's say it together one more time. Al buen entendedor, pocas palabras. Put this dicho into practice this week, and I'll see you next time. Adiós, y que tengan buen día, nuevos amigos.
Did you listen to our wise man today, Nuevos Amigos? What did he say? Listening is a great skill, and it can help you in many ways. Practice listening to someone this week without saying a lot, and you'll learn so much. Now, let's learn some more new words as we continue our lesson on Puerto Rico. La fortaleza. La fortaleza. Fortress. La fortaleza. El cañón. El cañón. Cannon. El cañón. El barco. El barco. Ship. El barco. Bien hecho. Well done.
During the Spanish colonization, the island of Puerto Rico became a strategic military point. This means that its location in the Caribbean Sea was important because it had good resources like fresh water and food, and whoever owned the island could control shipping and protect the general area of the smaller islands from enemy actions. In 1539, the Spanish built the fortress, La Fortaleza, named El Castillo San Felipe del Morro, or El Morro for short. El Morro means the promontory. This fortress is found on the shores of San Juan, the capital city of the country. El Morro not only secured and protected Puerto Rico, but it was also a naval base that allowed Spain to defend its nearby island colonies of the West Indies. The fortress was built with 18-foot thick walls made of stones and rocks that rise 140 feet above the sea surrounding the shores of San Juan. When standing there, you can imagine the many battles that the Spaniards fought with their cannons, sus cañones, destroying enemy ships, los barcos, that had pirates on board. In 1585, the English explorer, Sir Francis Drake, intended to steal the Spanish gold in Puerto Rico and capture San Juan. The cannon fire from El Morro defeated the 27 English ships. 13 years later, in 1598, after studying Drake's attack, the English military came up with a winning plan and avoided the cannon fire from the fortress. They managed to seize San Juan and take it over for 5 months, but an epidemic killed them, and the Spanish took control once again. Later in 1625, Dutch ships attacked Puerto Rico, and the defense forces of El Morro drove away the Dutch after 1 month of fighting. The fortress had to be rebuilt and fortified after the attacks. Due to its great design and construction, El Morro stands today as a museum and a historic reminder of the battles that were fought to take the riches of Puerto Rico.
La fortaleza El Morro protegía a San Juan de los piratas.
¡Qué increíble! Todavía existe.
Yo quiero ir a visitar allá.
Yo también.
Let's practice our pronunciation and go over the second dialogue. Student number 1 said, La fortaleza, El Morro, protegía a San Juan de los piratas. The fortress of El Morro protected San Juan from the pirates. Repeat after me. La fortaleza, El Morro, protegía a San Juan de los piratas. Now, let's say the whole sentence together. La fortaleza, el Morro, protegía a San Juan de los piratas. I'll say it one more time. La fortaleza, el Morro, protegía a San Juan de los piratas. Student number 2 replied, ¡Qué increíble! Todavía existe. That's incredible. It still exists. Repeat after me. ¡Qué increíble! Todavía existe. Now listen again. ¡Qué increíble! Todavía existe. Next, student number 1 said, Yo quiero ir a visitar allá. I want to go visit there. Say it after me. Yo quiero ir a visitar allá. Let's say the sentence together. Yo quiero ir a visitar allá. Student number 2 responded, Yo también. Me too. Say it after me. Yo también. Muy bien hecho. Very well done.
Coquí. Coquí, coquí, canta la rana. Coquí, coquí, debajo del agua. Coquí, coquí, no va a salir. Le teme al ruido de tus pisadas. Debajo del agua puede reír.
This poem talks about the coquí, the Puerto Rican frog. Its call sounds just like its name, coquí. The poem says that the frog calls out from under the water and that it will not come out as it is afraid of your steps. While it stays under the water, it can laugh. Here are some more new words as we continue our study of Puerto Rico. La rana. La rana. Frog. La rana. La deforestación. La deforestación. Deforestation. La deforestación. La llamada. La llamada. Call. La llamada. La leyenda. La leyenda. Legend. La leyenda. La fortuna. La fortuna. Fortune. La fortuna. Maravilloso, nuevos amigos.
The island of Puerto Rico, Rich Port, is also called La Isla del Encanto, the Island of Enchantment. In the recent past, there has been major deforestation, deforestación, in Puerto Rico's rainforest. But El Yunque is now a protected area where the trees and plants can grow without being cut down, and the animals have their natural habitat where they can live. There are now many opportunities for ecotourism, el ecoturismo, similar to the tourism in the rainforest of Costa Rica. Because of the rich diversity of the land, from its coast to the rainforest, Puerto Rico citizens are proud of the rare plants and animals that inhabit the island. One of these animals is the tiny Puerto Rican tree frog, la rana. This frog is called Coquí and is found almost nowhere else in the world. This beautiful little creature is no more than 2 inches long and lives in the damp leaves of the island, especially in the famous tropical rainforest, El Yunque. The coquí blends itself with its habitat because its skin is light brown and almost transparent. Its name comes from the sound that some male frogs of the species make. Their caw, su llamada, sounds like a bird song of two tones, Coquí, and is only heard during the evening hours. A legend, una leyenda, says that the Coquís are the descendants of a beautiful bird that lost its wings. The little frogs are often heard but not seen. Many Puerto Ricans believe that if you see a coquí when it is singing, you will have good fortune, buena fortuna. Its musical call has been called Puerto Rico's unofficial national anthem, su himno. Although it is rare to find a real coquí because of its size and fast movement, it is common to see the images of the tiny frogs in advertising, t-shirts, and in the folk art of Puerto Rico.
Ahora es tiempo para la composición estudiantil. It's time for your student composition. Suppose you are creating a campaign to stop deforestation, la deforestación. Your assignment is to design a poster that uses the image of the coquí and has a catchy phrase or message. What message would you write? Describe the designs and the colors in your poster. How does the coquí look? You may want to draw the poster first and then describe it in your Spanish journal. Have fun and be creative! Our study of Puerto Rico has brought us many new words and phrases, so let's review our lesson. Be sure to write down anything you might have missed. The verb of the day was proteger, to protect. And in our first dialogue, our students used the sentences, Te protejo de la lluvia? May I protect you from the rain? And ¿Tienes un paraguas? Do you have an umbrella? The new vocabulary words in this lesson were el gobernador, governor, la ley, law, la marcha, march, la mayoría, majority, el permiso, permission, el himno, anthem, la fortaleza, fortress, el cañón, cannon, el barco, ship, la rana, frog, la deforestación, deforestation, la llamada, call, la leyenda, legend, la fortuna, fortune. Our dicho was, al buen entendedor, pocas palabras. A good listener needs few words. In our second dialogue, we used the sentences, la fortaleza, el Morro, protegía a San Juan de los piratas. The fortress of El Morro protected San Juan from the pirates. And ¡qué increíble! ¡Todavía existe! That's incredible! It still exists! For your composition, you are creating a campaign to stop deforestation. Design a poster that uses the image of the coquí and has a catchy phrase or message, and then describe it in your Diarios de Español. Muy bien, nuevos amigos! I'm so proud of you! You've done a splendid job! Han hecho un trabajo espléndido! If you have any interesting information or fun ideas about Latin American culture and history, then I'd like to hear from you. Write me a message and have your teacher email it to me. Mándame un correo electrónico. The email address is nuevosamigos@dallasisd.org. Remember, when you learn to speak another language, you also make new friends. Acuérdense, cuando aprendemos más de un idioma, podemos hacer nuevos amigos. Cuídense y hasta la próxima.